Hey there everyone, this is my first video on YouTube. I'm going to be unboxing the Gamesir T4 Kaleid controller, if that's how you say it, Kaleid, whatever. It is kind of a unique controller. We've got some anti-drift technology in here, you know, the Hall effect magnetic sensing joysticks, no stick drift, no chance of stick drift, at least within our lifetime, or there's an EMP. But this is an interesting controller. It's kind of got some, you know, more gaming performance features in it, opposed to kind of just more of those generic joysticks or controllers we've seen come out with Hall effect joysticks. So it really piqued my interest. Is yes, it's kind of got this interesting clear case to it and RGB, and we're going to take a look at what that looks like in person. Just came out retailing for around $41.99. A fairly reasonably priced, well, definitely a cheap controller. And for the price point with Hall effect sticks and rear buttons on the back and a few other features, I think some magnetic, or not magnetic, mechanical, sorry, face buttons, I think this is quite a contender here for the price point. And certainly, at least for a backup controller. It is only compatible with, it is a it is a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, so it is not going to be compatible with PS4, Xbox, but will be with Switch and you know, PC, which, you know, anywho, let's get this unboxing going here. It just came in the mail from China. The shipping was pretty quick. It took about 5 days to arrive, which is pretty quick for Chinese shipping. I did pay for the premium shipping, so out the door my cost was $51. So the box looks pretty good, pretty sturdy. As some of you may have heard of the Gamesir G7 series controller, and that was a great controller, but did not have Hall effect sticks. So there's plastic wrap on here that came off. So that is the retail packaging here. Here you go, get that in frame. 16.8 million colors, so it looks like that's an ARGB light, naturally. So, let's see here. Oh, that was actually a pull tab, no need for a knife. Great. Okay. So you got some embroidery in here, Gamesir. It's kind of cool. Got a cardboard box, you know, the details, little deets. So you got your pretty nice looking USB-C cable. It's pretty solid, braided, you know. Nice cable tie. It is USB 2.0. So, like the cable tie. Alright, pretty thick cable. I think this will definitely last, as this is a wired keyboard, or wired gamepad controller. It is not going to be wireless. Just kind of pop this back. There we go. Now it should come out. Alright. So this is the controller. I'm not the biggest fan, personally, of the clear look, but I do like that black and gold PCB showing through there. You know, maybe it's, yeah, it's starting to grow on me. I'm pretty sure this will grow on me. Okay. So pretty tactile left and right buttons on the back there. Kind of sort of similar to the Scuff in a sense, where it's just, you know, not even close, I guess, for the angles, but it's right where you want them to be. Oh, yep. So the face buttons appear to be mechanical, but they do feel a little bit mushy. So I do, for reference, do have a. Some people, most of the industry claims that this has got some of the best face buttons. This controller here, the Razer Wolverine Ultimate. I've got a little mod back here of my own plastic. But as you can hear, so that is the Razer Wolverine Pro, very extremely clicky. And then here's the Gamesir. So definitely mechanical, as they mentioned on the website. And a nice crisp tactile with a little bit of give on the bottom. Little tiny bit of, like, it doesn't feel membrane, but it does feel like it's not as hard of a stop as the Razer Wolverine. So it's a very hard stop on the Wolverine, whereas this one, there's a little bit of, you got a nice soft, not really soft, but crisp press, and then it bottoms out with a nice kind of mush there at the bottom. So it's going to be up to you trying this out, what you think is going to be the best, or if it suits your needs. I don't think it feels at all like a membrane. Keypad, face button. So moving on to these buttons here, they do feel pretty standard. They don't feel too bad. They do kind of wobble around in there. The Gamesir button is pretty cheap feeling. Okay, so the sticks. So compared to my worn out, heavily used Razer Wolverine, yeah, the joysticks feel about the same. What, 50 grams? Yeah, nothing too heavy, very light. So the buttons seem pretty decent, and that's kind of cool. You can actually see it function. You can't see it that well through the screen, through the camera lens, but you can actually see it actuate in there. And you can actually see your Hall effect joysticks. It's pretty cool. Gamesir. I almost think that they went with the clear plastic just to show off their quality of their PCB. And yeah, it's beautiful PCB here, and to show off their Hall effect sticks. So you can look inside there, you're not going to see Alps. You know, those are Gamesir Hall effect sticks. They appear to be, the actual top part of the stick is the same as like a standard Xbox controller, so I will be swapping these sticks out soon with the magnetic kit, similar to like what you see here on the Wolverine. Alright, let's do some good B-roll of the Gamesir T4 Kaleid. So the triggers, they feel pretty good. Probably very similar to the G7 series, based on what I've heard. So no trigger stops or anything, but this is a really hard, stop. Even without the trigger stops, it's a much harder bottom out on the Razer Wolverine than it is with the Kaleid. It's fairly comfortable, actually. The fit is nice in my hands. I do like the Wolverine right here. There's a little bit of this rounded texture to the Razer Wolverine that does fit very nicely in my palms, my large size hands. They're not gigantic or anything. No Franco Colombo hands or anything, but they are not small. And yeah, it still fits pretty good. It fits more like a standard Xbox controller. The D-pad, pretty standard, but like a normal button. It doesn't appear to be like mechanical like the face buttons, but it feels pretty good. Yeah, diagonal. Yeah, going diagonal with the D-pads feels pretty solid. I think that's the turbo button, or that's the M button. I can't. Yeah, I think that's M. Yep, it's labeled M there. So yeah, let's plug this thing in. See what it looks like when it lights up there. All right, so that. So there is a bit of bubbly action going on in there. You can see there's some bubbles kind of in the plastic. Kind of give it a cool look. I would have liked to have seen that more clear and not bubbled, you know, like in the pictures. But yeah, Gamesir. So that's as it turns on, and the mouse button, you can do different. Oh, so that's also the turbo button. So if you hit the M button and then something else that'll turbo. Interesting. Okay, it's pretty easy, pretty standard controller feature. We'll have to test the audio on that 3.5. Most people aren't going to be using that. I'd say, you know, especially PC people are going to have their own USB mics, but we can test that and see how easy it is to mute and unmute with their buttons. I haven't up here, we did forget the manual, so there's nothing else in the box here. Overall, okay packaging. The sticks looked like they weren't going to be messed around with at all during shipping. It only came, the outside retail packaging only came in like some bubble wrap, so, but it is $40. And the controller, you know, Heaven might be able to do a better review and has way more experience reviewing controllers than I do and can give you better rankings. I will, you know, refrain from giving it a ranking 1 out of 10 on each of these features. I'm just kind of describing what I'm seeing here, as there's no other videos on YouTube about this controller. So you got some Chinese here, English, pretty easy to read. Yeah. A little quality control sticker from Gamesir. That's cool. And then the full manual, like unraveling a road atlas or something. Those of you who know what a road atlas is, congratulations. Yeah, overall it doesn't feel super cheap. I don't feel any flexing. I would have liked to see, like on the G7, they do have this texture, but it's not rubberized. It's got like a different type of like textured plastic. The front plastic is more glossy and the back is satin, and it does feel different. And this texturing here is pretty good. You can see it's grippy. It's pretty grippy, but I would have liked to have seen some, you know, rubberized grips, as you see here on some of the other higher end controllers. But yeah, for $40, can't complain. And that PCB is freaking beautiful. So yeah, that is exposed PCB. That's not paint or anything. That is copper showing, or gold. Yeah, I really like those buttons on the back. They're perfectly spaced. They're at the right location. I can activate them without, obviously, using this. I was not a big fan of Razer's design with these buttons. I preferred the Tournament Edition, and these are pretty similar actually to the Razer Tournament Edition style buttons. Razer Wolverine Ultimate Tournament. I will be working on a 3D printed back, like a whole back piece back here, which we could add on some, you know, different type of texturing for the hand grips, using some different materials from the 3D printing process, maybe some more grippier rubberized textures. Be nice, but the big design is going to be adding in some of those some trigger stops. So just like I've seen on a couple of posts that you can basically 3D print a trigger stop that goes inside here, but it's not adjustable. So you're kind of stuck with whatever your trigger stop point is. So if we went ahead and redesigned this whole back plate here, took a 3D scan of that, and just modified and added in those trigger stops, that'd be a pretty cool project. Yeah, they're show-offs. They like to show off those sticks. That's pretty cool, though. I'm a pretty huge fan. I wonder why it's going off like that. Maybe it's the mode that it's in. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that. I can't be turboing every... There you go. Okay. So I think I turned off the turbo now. That's good. The bumpers feel good, man. The triggers feel pretty good. I do like that textured grip, and it would be nice, similar to the G7, extending that texture that you see here on the back of the trigger here around the edges. But I do see when you stick your fingers back here, that's really all that comes in contact with the triggers. You know, without really having to move your finger much. You don't have to go on top of these bumpers like this to really activate them. So yeah, I mean, definitely for 40 bucks, you know, some basic testing on the, you know, the accuracy of the sticks should tell whether it's worth it. But man, would I prefer this over the G7? Yeah, if these sticks come in more accurate, and again, they're gonna last and not be affected by stick drift, absolutely. Now, if we went over to the back and upgraded this back panel here with the trigger stops, yeah, this would be quite an awesome controller. Again, this isn't really a button haven back here. You're not gonna have, you know, 4 or 5 buttons like you'd get on like a Beaver or something, Battle Beaver. But again, Battle Beaver costs like damn near 10 times the cost. So yeah, trigger stops, upgraded sticks, yeah, for about 60 bucks, assuming you have a 3D printer, you'd have yourself a pretty damn good controller. Again, that'll not be susceptible to stick drift. And would this be a controller that I would find worth it? Worth putting that investment into? Absolutely. And while we're at it, we might as well just 3D print the whole housing. So if you don't want to go with this clear look, you wanted to go, you know, black or any color of the, you know, filament you wanted to go with, that would look cool. Oh, so I guess there is this like ghosting here. Yeah, you can see that in the camera pretty well. There's like this weird pattern on top of it, on top of the LED. Looks pretty cool. It kind of breaks up the light. Yeah, you know that the clear case is kind of growing on me. The texture back here is decent. It does grip your hands pretty good. Does it feel like a budget controller when I hold it in my hand? Absolutely it does, especially comparing that directly to the Razer Wolverine Ultimate. This thing is a hefty chunk. This thing is thick. You got metal components back here, metal, you know, bumpers. Yeah, these buttons are metal. Yeah, I think these are, yeah, it's plastic, but it's a different type of plastic. It feels heavier duty. The bumpers, I actually like the bumpers more in the Gamesir over the Wolverine, not gonna lie. They're okay, but I think I've just worn mine out over time, so they're not quite as crisp. Gamesir, definitely pretty crispy. The sticks are nice. Definitely kind of like a good, if I had to pick one stick for all concave and rounded stick plate types, this one, that would be a good one. Alright, that is the unboxing and first impressions of the Gamesir T4 Kaleid.